Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad to have you here. I want to say thank you so much to the new subscribers. The last video, I believe I was sitting at 996. This morning it was 1013. And of course I did have the giveaway for the gift card, and that went to Seawolf. And she graciously wanted to donate it to my church, and I sure appreciate that, and I know they will appreciate it. We're just a small church out in the country, not many people, but you know, we do really well for just a few amount of people. Main thing is God's there, and that's all that's important. But today, of course, y'all know, I believe it's Tuesday, is St. Patrick's Day, I think. Yeah. And so today's recipe is a traditional Irish cake that came out of a cookbook from Ireland that was published in 1979. Now, I've never made this before, so it's my first time making it. And there's one little thing, I think. We'll see if there's anything else. One little thing I'm going to change, because it talks about heating on top of the stove, and actually I'm just going to heat in the microwave, and we'll see if it comes out. You only have to heat it until the sugar kind of, dissolves, so that shouldn't take long at all. But anyway, I'll go ahead and turn you down and we will get started. And this, of course, you can read it there in the description. It says it just says ginger cake is what the recipe says, but it ends up, it actually has a lemon butter icing. So I'll probably type that in the description too, but just in case I forget. So let's go ahead. And I love ginger and I love lemon, so I thought, well, this would be good, because we typically see corned beef and cabbage, which in reality is not actually an Irish thing. Then we see the colcannon a lot. I don't even know how you're really supposed to say it. My husband is of Irish descent, but as far as the way you say a lot of pronunciations, he had no clue, and I don't either. Colcannon, I think. Colcannon, something like that. And so that's one of the dishes, which is kind of like cabbage and potatoes. But I thought, well, this would be, I needed a dessert, and I saw this in this cookbook from Ireland, and I thought, well, this would be really neat to try, because it's not something I've ever had before. I don't think I've ever had it. I've had, gingerbread, and I've had ginger cake, but never with a lemon butter icing. So I thought it'd be fun to try something new. So let's go ahead. And let me turn you down a little so you can see. All right, so I am going to set that to the side for now. Let me get another spoon. Okay, and it says first thing we're going to do is combine 2 cups of brown sugar. 1 cup of brown sugar packed. Now this is only an 8x8 cake, and I already have an 8x8 cake pan. I have the oven too hot, I just noticed. We need 325, so let me lower that down. Do I have to cancel this to lower it down?
No, you have to hit bake.
I have to hit bake again? Okay, this oven's completely different than mine.
No, can I bring this outside?
All right. So we need 1 cup of firmly packed brown sugar. Oh, I don't know. Is this a 1/4 of a cup in there here, Amber?
Yep.
Okay, good, I guessed right. So we need 4 of these.
It's red, right?
What?
It's the red scoop.
Yeah, it's red. I said it looks about like 1/4 of a cup. you know, I can lots of times look at something and tell about what the measurement is. My husband, he could look at wrenches and sockets and look at them and tell you what size they were most of the time. But now I couldn't. He would, and I'm talking and I lost count. So we're going to start this all over, y'all. But anyway, he would send me to get one or tell him to help him find one. And, you know, if he's busy in the middle of something. And it would take me forever to find one. Even when he would, you know, usually have them on that thing. Not always, because sometimes when he'd buy them, they wouldn't have one of those things they pop on. Those were in the later years. But in the earlier years, they didn't have those. They were just loose. And I might put my fingers up so I know this time. And it would take me forever to find something. Pack that down. And that's 2. Three. 4. Okay, good. Let me rinse my hand off. Okay, I keep clean dishwater up, so all I have to do is usually, unless it's something where I really need to wash my hands, I can just reach in there and just rinse it off. And I did not put that back in there, but I'll get it in a minute. All right, then to that, we're going to add a 1/2 cup of butter. And it says butter or margarine. We have butter, which that, you know, of course, is 2 sticks typically. So we want, no, man, I don't know where my math is today. A 1/2 cup is 1 stick. I need the other stick to help make the icing. And even told earlier I'm gonna have to get more butter out, but I don't know why I'm thinking today. Like I said, I've never made this, so, you know, I'm not real familiar with this that I can just say it off the top of my head. We want 1 stick, a 1/2 cup of butter. So that was 1 cup of firmly packed brown sugar. I probably looked at the sugar and butter and gone switched and when I was looking at them. Who knows what I did? Only God knows what I do when I do it. All right. Then we need, combine the sugar, the butter. Then we need 1/4 cup of, it says unsulfured molasses. All right. I buy molasses. I buy them from this restaurant close to me called Lambert's. And I'm pretty sure theirs are unsulfured, but I didn't know exactly what it meant, so I looked it up. And it said, and this here says it's unsulfured somewhere. Yeah, unsulfured. She had already had this, and it was unsulfured. But it says the unsulfured is cooked from mature sugar cane, and that it's usually sweeter and has a more robust flavor, whereas the sulfured one is cut from young sugar cane before it gets all the way mature, and that the flavor's not as sweet, and that they add, it's called sulfur dioxide to it to help as a preservative, and it said it have a little bit of a chemical aftertaste. So that's the difference if you are like me and wanting to know. Now we'll just put this in here. Now this is where it says to heat the brown sugar, combine the brown sugar, the butter, molasses in a small saucepan and cook over low. I probably should have sprayed this with a little bit of cooking spray and make it come out better. and heat it over low until your sugar is dissolved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. And that should dissolve the sugar. Now, this did not even say your butter had to be soft, but I decided I wanted it soft. And let me see. Okay, and if y'all want the recipe, like I need this recipe written down, tell me. And I can always put it in go back and add it to the descriptions, because they typically don't, because a lot of times I don't really follow a recipe. I can tell you approximately something, or as I'm going along with you, I may measure and say, okay, add this, okay, add a little more, whatever. But anyway, so I am going to pop this in the microwave for about 30 seconds. I'll bring you back in a minute. Okay, let me get you back down here. So that's what it kind of looks like when you dissolve that sugar that's in there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and she didn't have a regular handheld sifter. She had the other kind, so I'm just decided I would do it. She had the, what I call strainer, I guess can be a sifter too. But I'm just going to, it's felt a little warm, but I know it's coming from back there. I'm just going to do it in the bowl, but if you have a sifter, whether the kind you turn the handle or the kind you just shake, you can do that. But I'm just going to mix it all up in a bowl. And I've been trying to mess this because it look a little crooked somehow. Anyway, so let's go ahead and we'll take this, and we have in here 2 cups of, let me look at that again, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now to this, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of ginger. I'll save ginger last, so I can use the same spoon. We are going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And if this is your first time watching me, second time, yes, I make a mess every time I cook. Okay, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. I did not say half while ago, 1.5, it's 1.5. That doesn't seem like it's fitting on there real good. I guess I need to leave it open. Oh. Yeah, I'm so used to just getting in here and cooking and trying to read, follow directions, do it all at the same time. Takes a lot out of this old brain I have. When I was younger, wouldn't have had a problem. Now I'm older, my brain's getting older. All right, so 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now we need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Shake it up so it won't be all settled at the bottom. Half teaspoon of baking soda. And I just thought, man, I hope I didn't put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in there. Oh well, only 1/2 teaspoon more. I think I did use the 1.5. And then I wiped it off with my apron. All right. Then we need 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And now is where we need the 2 teaspoons of ginger. Just your ground ginger. Ground ginger. And you know, if you have spices that you don't use very much, like I only use pumpkin pie spice maybe 2 or 3 times a year. if you don't want to go stale on you, or you know, like sometimes it may go ahead and reach that expiration date quicker than you use it, keep it in the freezer. That's a good place to keep it, and it'll keep it fresh. So 2 teaspoons of ginger. Then we are going to just make sure we stir this, and if you have a sifter, you can sift it. If you don't, you know, sometimes people, especially newly married people, they don't have those things. I didn't have one in the very beginning. Okay, we're back. Let me tell you what happened is I was going along talking to you, telling you about how you don't have to have all the latest gadgets or any of that. You just compromise, and had a little glitch with the phone. So I'm glad you didn't miss anything important. I had to, you know, I'd already mixed stuff together and you missed that. But anyway, yeah, that's true. You don't, you know, use whatever you have. You know, just make do with whatever you have. If you don't have money to go buy stuff, don't think you have to go out and buy this or that to cook proper. Just use whatever you have. Figure out, you know, God gave us a brain to use to figure things out. Okay, so one step I did not tell you though, because I didn't realize it at first, was once you want this to cool, okay? And it's not that I guess I got ahead of you there. Let me bring this back up. Took me a while to figure that glitch out. So anyway, but you could just pop this in the refrigerator or the freezer. It doesn't have to be cold, just not real warm like it is when you first, you know, take it off the heat or get it out of the microwave. You just want to let it cool down some so it's not real hot. I guess that's what it means, because it just said cooled mixture, so you don't want it hot. All right. One step that did not show though was, and I don't remember if I told you this or not, honestly, but you want a half a cup of milk. We want to take that and you want it warmed. It says warmed, W-A-R-M-E-D, warmed milk. So I am going to put it on 15 seconds and not push the wrong button. So I'll have to sit here or stand here and watch it count down. You know, and you're in a different kitchen and you're not used to things like yours is. Okay, let's see. Milk, you have to be so careful with it because it will just start going over. Okay, that is warm. 15 seconds is all it took. Probably could have got by with 10. So next it says, after we have all our flour, ginger, baking powder, soda, and salt all sifted together in a mixing bowl, it says we're going to make a well in the center of it. You could use your hand, you know, get in there with your hand and do like that, make a well in the center, or you could just use your spoon and hollow you out a well. That means just kind of making a hole in the center, but not going all the way down to the bowl. You don't want to go all the way down to the bowl. Just kind of want to make it in the center there, kind of like that. Then it says after we do that, we are to add the cooled sugar mixture and mix well. So we add our cooled sugar mixture and we mix it well. Now you will have to be careful that you only want to, you know, on a saucepan, you're going to want to stir it all the time, and make sure once that, and I should have told you this earlier too, but once that brown sugar is no longer looking like brown sugar, it's kind of, it turns liquid, you want to take it off right then, because if you keep cooking it, you can end up making like caramel candy. So now we want to mix that well. And if you notice, it did try to solidify a little, if you see that, from it cooling off. Rip my hand off there. No sense in that going to waste. And this, see, this is almost kind of like gingerbread right now if we stopped here. Okay, I think that's good. Then to this, we are going to add a half a cup of warm milk. And we want 1 egg that we just slightly beat it. And remember, scrape out as much of everything you can because groceries cost too much. They're too high to be wasting any. And then we are to mix that well. And it says beat it for 3 minutes. Well, I didn't get the mixer out. And it never did say use a mixer. So I'm just going to stir it up till it's stirred up good. Of course, the way my arm's acting, I'm probably wishing I had a mixer. I didn't know it would be quite this stiff. I will bring y'all back after it's stirred up good. My arm gives out, I may get the mixer, which I may do. All right, y'all, I did get out the mixer. And, you know, and plus the mixer just add in a little bit of air to make it a little bit lighter. But, you know, sometimes there's times when I didn't have a mixer and I just used a spoon, but my arm was a lot stronger then than it is now. Then next you'll put it into an 8x8 cake pan that you have, and it says prepared. So I didn't just say just to grease it or grease and flour it, but since it's a cake, you know, I'd say grease it and flour it. Put some grease around it, oil, whatever, just a little bit. And you could sprinkle a little bit of flour, shake it all around, dump it. But I took the easy way. She had some of this baking spray, so I used that. If you have an Aldi, they sell their brand, you know. There's also a store brand. So now we'll just put it in here. I'm sure y'all are laughing at me today. And that's okay because honestly, I'm laughing at myself. If I was watching this, I would be laughing at the person, whoever this was. I laugh at myself all the time. Especially the older I get, the more I laugh at myself. Because, you know, it's like my brain doesn't function like it did. When I was in my 20s, I could really multitask up until I was in my 40s, honestly. After I hit my 40s, well, it went out the door.
What are you doing?
So those of you who go to church, did you have a good church service today? Or did you watch one on television? We had a good one. Sermon was really good today.
What's my room in the yard?
It was on discipleship. So that was a really good sermon.
What? What's my room out there?
For how we are Christians, we're supposed to make sure we go out and spread the word with others. Oh.
It's the yard.
You know, we're commanded to do that in Scripture in Matthew 28, I think it is. Go ye therefore into all nations, teaching and baptizing them. Okay. Now, I know I didn't quote that correctly, but now we're going to put this in the oven for about 45 minutes until like a regular cake. toothpick in the center comes out clean. Let's cook it in the center. Let me stand up. Cook it in the center of your oven for 45 minutes, all right? And then when you put that toothpick in, or if you don't have a toothpick, you know, a butter knife, case knife, whatever you call it. I have actually taken the straw of a broom and used not the end you sweep with, but the other end, stuck that in there before. Again, it's about improvising. Be back in a while. All right, I am. The cake is finished. I'm not finished. The cake is finished. And so I stuck in, tested it. It comes out clean. So it's good to go. Now, here's a thing. If you want to put your cake on a platter, then go ahead and empty it out, or go ahead and empty the cake out onto a cooling rack. Go ahead, you know, and flip this over onto a cooling rack. And of course you would put your cooling rack on top, one hand under here with a pot holder, and then flip it. If you don't have a cooling rack and you want to put it on a platter or plate or whatever, then you could lay you maybe a piece of parchment paper or a piece of wax paper over this, and then do the same thing. I am going to just leave mine in the pan and keep it in the pan, serve it in the pan. So I just have mine sitting up on this trivet, and I'm going to move it off of the stove top here. I'm going to set it over there. And then you want it to cool completely before you ice it. So after it cools completely, I'll bring you back and we will make the icing, and then we will ice it. See y'all in a little while. Hi y'all, I'm back. All right, now we're making the icing. So first thing you need to do is you want 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and sift it, make sure you get all lumps out. So I try shaking it, but it's not wanting to come out real good shaking it. So I'm just gonna stir it like this. And you need also 3 tablespoons of butter that's softened. So you do need to have that already sitting out. You know, it could have been sitting out while your cake was cooling off. Powdered sugar's good at having lumps, isn't it? Okay, here we go. It's getting there. It's taking its own sweet time. I think that's good. All right, now we're going to take the 3 tablespoons of softened butter, put that in. I don't know if she has she has a plug there. Let me get the mixer and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So we're just going to mix this up. Get that butter mixed in there good. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I just want to get it broke up in there a little bit. Then it says you want to add enough lemon juice to make it spreadable. And it said approximately a tablespoon. So let me see what I have here. See, this is 1/2 tablespoon, so I'll use, sure it will take 1/2. Just go ahead and start mixing now and see what that does. Whoa, started too fast. No, stay over there, hon. You don't have your shirt on. Okay, let's put a little more. My hands aren't always super steady, so I did spill a little bit of that before I got it up here. If I had some green food coloring, I didn't think about that, or I would have bought some. It would have been really cute to put the green food coloring in here to give it, for St. Patrick's Day, to give it a little bit of a green color. All right, I'll put a little more. And that wasn't quite a full tablespoon altogether because, like I said, I spilled a little bit of it. I'm just going to start squirting some in now. I want to see if it would take at least. You kind of know it's going to be about enough when it kind of see how it's starting to come to a ball. And then I always go just a tad more. You know, you bought icing in the can maybe, and you know what it looks like. So I go a little bit more because this butter will, there, get hard too. Whoa. I tell you, my hand just wants to turn that on high real fast. I think that should be spreading consistency now. No, still feels a little hard. Wash my hands off here. Okay. Try. There we go. I'm not getting a lot of lemon flavor. But it looks like spreading consistency. I think I'm going to add a tad more. So I am going to say I ended up putting about a tablespoon and a half in there. Okay, let me get these off here. Liam, you want a beater? I said, Liam, you want a beater? Okay, don't come in front of the camera though, okay, since you don't have a shirt on. Here, take one to your sister. Okay. Well, can't really go to your, yeah, you can. It's not going to show you. The shot's over here. And then you just ice your cake. Now this is something y'all I'm not always good with. You know, I've told y'all before, I can make food taste good, but I cannot make it look real pretty. Well, let me turn you down so you can see though. Oh, you can see it. Okay, I didn't know at first you could see it. I forgot to move the cake. Oh, that was just my tablet fell. I thought it was you that fell, but you sure are crooked. I don't know why you're so crooked today. Must not have my phone in there right. Yeah, I have the recipe pulled up on my tablet. I go to Open Library and look at books, borrow books from Open Library on the internet, and that's where the cookbook that I had found this in. Now this cake is a dense cake. If you're my age, it's reminiscent of, some of the old coffee cakes you used to have back in the day. So I noticed it is, which I kind of thought it would be, since it didn't have a lot of liquid in it. It's somewhere really like a coffee cake. It's somewhere like in between a cake and a bread. Oh my goodness, I don't know how this was supposed to do the sides too if you take it out, but I guess y'all will just have to spread it thin. You probably are supposed to spread it thinner. Yeah, I think it would look really cute with green food coloring in it. Like I said, I love ginger and I love lemon, so the two of these together, I'm thinking it's going to really be good. Try to get this all evened out here.
Where do you want me to put this for you?
You can just put it there in that dishwater, honey.
That tastes good.
It tastes good? Yeah, it's lemon. I can get a little bit more out there. Yeah. That seemed like that's thick right there. So let me see if I can spread it out just to make it even over here. All right, and there we go. Let me go ahead and try a little piece of it for you. I'll bring you up so you can see me. Trying to get a little small piece out here. So this is what the inside looks like. Yes, those are some good flavors together. Well, listen, if you wouldn't mind, if you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you. And if you wouldn't mind clicking on like and share the video, I sure appreciate that. And remember to always season your cooking with love. And I will be back with y'all again. And if I'm not back before, y'all listen, have a happy and safe St. Patrick's Day. See y'all later.